Okay.
Kind of hard to see. I got you.
All right, welcome in, high school football fans. We are live here inside of Keith Wakefield Stadium for the Start College Showcase, organized by head coach here of the Perry Panthers, Zach Slates, one of my old nemesis out here on this field. We used to line up and battle a little bit, and he's got some of his buddies that have also joined him out here today from some of our local Stark County high schools. Another one of my old nemesis, one of his teammates defensively, Brian Gamble, the Sandy Valley Cardinals have come up here, a last-minute addition to this showcase. Also, the Jackson Polar Bears and Coach Jay Rohr, they've welcomed themselves in here to Keith Wakefield Stadium as well. We know from the start of this thing, as organized by the Perry Panthers, we've had the North Canton Hoover Vikings, we've had the Alliance Aviators, and we've also had we have the Lake Blue Streaks as well,
Yep,
Jamie.
yep.
You know, Lake had a really good season last year, coached by Dan DeGeorge. Tim Goodman has taken over not only as the head coach at Alliance, but also the athletic director. And then Coach Brian Baum doing some really good things there with the Hoover Vikings. And again, as I welcome my friend in here, Jamie Fausnight, I am TJ Downing. We're going to be live here all morning for you from this college showcase. A lot of recruiters have come in here. We've got a chance to see and talk with one of the Tiffin Dragons. We've also seen the Walsh Cavaliers, who have welcomed themselves in as well. We've got a bunch of them that will be checking out these guys, and we'll kind of rattle off here throughout the morning what we're doing, what we're seeing, what you're seeing live on our Stark Media Team YouTube channel. And shout out to our friends here at the Perry Tech Department, Perry High School News Department, Keith Brown, and his son Mason, the director behind the scenes here today. Some 40-yard dash stuff going on right now. They're doing a little bit of pro agility. They've got some shuttle stuff. Really just kind of all your measurables, Jamie, your broad jump. And then we're going to get into some position-specific drills. So as we start to look, I know you've had a chance. They got the QR codes out there so that you can stay up to date. The recruiters, the scouts, and not only that, the fans and us here at Stark Media can stay up to date on what numbers are being posted here. And I know, as you've mentioned, you've already seen a couple of the big boys. That's what gets us excited, right? I know that's what gets me excited. We've seen a couple sub-5s on the 40s.
Yeah, we've seen two of them. Let me see. It's kind of hard to see. The 4.9. I have Jack or Andrew Zarco. Andrew Zarco had the 4.97. I see Ethan Mauser from Jackson had a 4.98. And then I saw, let's see, one more. Zach Ferguson had a 4.95. So there's three kids. And that's another Jackson kid. Two Jackson kids and a North Canton kid with sub 540s, which that's you're putting your name out there. You start doing stuff like that.
Jamie, one of the things that kind of stuck out to us, now we had a chance to talk to one of our good friends. Gino Millen had his son Max Millen with him, who was a great offensive lineman and wrestler here. I mean, we know the Millen name is synonymous with Perry High School, but Mike Millen, a guy that we got a chance to see wrestle when we were here doing the live duel that they had with eventual Division II state champion St. Paris Graham. The Perry Panthers would get the better of them that day inside of the auxiliary gym over here. Pretty cool little deal, though, to see Mike Millen out here working out, because as we know, he got injured towards the end of wrestling season, but now he's back ready to go. And last year, to me, he, just as a young kid out there on the field running inside of that wing T offense, was one of the better offensive linemen around the county.
Well, I'll tell you what, he just ran a 5.14 or 5.16 He ran 5.16. He ran it twice consecutively, so he's consistent with that. And I'll tell you what, that's not a bad 40 time for a high school running back. And if you're running that wing T, you got to be able to come down the line and pull and pick up defensive ends and all that stuff. So you got to have a quick guard and tackles at that wing T. So I imagine you'll see a good season out of him.
You know, when you look at some measurables from him, and we'll kind of stick with, since they are the host, we'll stick here with the Perry Panthers first. And just another quick rundown for everybody that's joining us live on our Stark Media Team YouTube channel. We appreciate you. Shout out, salute here on Memorial Day weekend. Great little tribute, Jamie, as we rolled in here onto campus with the flags, not only the flags that were staked into the ground, but the fire department with the massive flag. Can't even give you the measurement on it, but it's one of the biggest flags you will see hanging there as you come in. And they welcomed us in with the bagpipes, which was pretty cool. I was looking for Jonathan from Corn to come playing out and hear Fieldy come in jamming on the bass. And I was starting to get a little excited there. But again, the Lake Blue Streaks, Jackson Polar Bears, Alliance Aviators, Sandy Valley Cardinals, and the North Canton Hoover Vikings have joined here inside of Keith Wakefield Stadium, the Perry Panthers. So let's stick here with the Panthers as we kind of break it down for you. Some measurables from Mike Millen last year as a sophomore: 6'2", 230. As Jamie mentioned, running in that wing T offense. You're going to lose a key group of guys. We just talked to head coach Zach Slates a minute ago. He says, I think it was roughly about 10 seniors will be coming back. Some guys that'll be leaving, Garrett Lawbacher and also Joel Brown. Both of these guys have competed at a high end here with track this spring. We know that Carson Basham, he's going to be coming back. We're going to be talking to him here shortly. He's going to join us on set here. But he is qualified now for the state tournament next week down there at Jesse Owens on the campus of The Ohio State University. But some other guys coming back. We know Austin Maddox, and I believe that was Gino Millen was talking to us about the Maddox kid, his older brother, Mike Maddox, an offensive lineman who's going on. He's playing some football in college now as well over there with the Walsh Cavaliers. But you've got DeAndre Church, running back, great running back here. He's going to be graduating. He's gone. Braden Felucius, he's gone. And also, to me, one of the best offensive linemen around last year, and had a pretty good year spring track-wise as well. Briar Rechtenwald, he's gone. So, there's going to be some holes to fill, but you look at Christian Ivonic, he's going to be back. We mentioned Carson Basham, he'll be back. Mike Millen, he will be back. So, every year it's the same, right? It doesn't matter what team you are. You're going to graduate, guys. That's the whole kind of hard part of this deal. You lose good players, but you got to look at what do you have coming up. If you're a great coach around these areas, or let's just say around the country, in a game of football, put stock in your youth programs so that when you graduate great players, you've got new ones coming up in the wings.
And I'll tell you, that's the thing about Perry, and you can't just run that wing T and teach kids how to do it when they're juniors in high school. As long as I can remember coaching against or playing against the Panthers, like the youth programs run the same offense, so it's plug and play. They got a guy ready. And it's a timing thing. He doesn't have to be huge. He doesn't have to be. There's no real tangibles that they're looking for other than he understands the timing of their offense. Because if they understand the timing of that wing T, they're dangerous. No matter who they lose, they're always going to be a hard team to battle because the timing of that offense is so difficult for offenses and the misdirection. So as long as they have kids that understand the timing, they can use them as the decoys and things like that, and they can come at you. It's a hard-nosed brand of football, which we all know that there's no shortage of hard-nosed kids in Massillon Perry.
All right, so the Perry Panthers, we will again get a chance to talk to Carson Basham. We'll also talk to head coach Zach Slates, who put this deal together. And before we jump over to our next team, we want to give a special shout out to all of our sponsors here at Stark Media. It all really starts with our great partners at Hilsher Clark Electric Company and the Eagles FOE 190 in downtown Massillon. Also, C.H. Vallis and Associates, Simon Says Promotions, Kishman's Fresh Market, McNeil & Sons Tree Service, Leatherneck Nation MC, Spirit of Stark, FinallyHereOhio.com, Miracle Motors 42, Corey Golf and Event Center, Red Door Apparel and Clothier, Lindsay's Pizza, H&H Truck Parts. And again, we want to say a special shout out as always, to the Perry High School News, Perry Tech Department, and Keith Brown, his son Mason, for the great job that they're doing for us here. We've got a great partnership that we're getting ready to roll out with them here as the 2023-24 school season is just upon us. So we'll talk more about our sponsors here throughout the day, but let's move on to what I know, if there is any hair on the back of that neck. I know you got a little bit on the front. I know what makes a stand-up partner. It's that orange and black, right? Gets
Absolutely.
you excited when you wake up in the morning talking about those Hoover Vikings. Coach Brian Baum, and let's also mention here, too, we're very fortunate here in Stark County that phenomenal football, and that's why I think this is one of the great things, and you even mentioned it, Jamie, as we walked in, that this is something that if this was back in your day or back in my day, we'd have been all over something like this, right? But, you know, the talent that we have around here, I've said this for years, and I will go to my grave saying this. I will put Stark County and Northeast Ohio football up against anybody, anytime, any day.
I'll stand right next to you and argue that. And then the thing that I love about it, and you said it, is Stark County football, but, you know, when you go out to Texas and you hear all those stories, those guys are driving an hour and a half to each game. They're not going from Massillon to Lake to have a war like that where it's like a 20-minute drive down the road. Every one of these teams are in close proximity. There's still a lot of community pride in these teams and these games, and maybe not every like little mom and pop shop shuts down on Friday night, but I'll tell you right now, everybody cares who won that game. You know, it's a really cool community here in Stark County, and there's never a shortage of top tier talent coming out of this area.
All right, so Coach Brian Baum, again, as we get ready to talk about the Hoover Vikings, and my next point coming on top of that talent around here, we're fortunate that a lot of these teams that we're seeing out here, I believe the Sandy Valley Cardinals, maybe the only ones from last year. The year before that, they qualified for the state playoffs. All of these teams in front of us here qualified for the state playoffs last year. Some great runs. The longest one out of all, or the deepest one out of all of the schools in attendance here today, were the Lake Blue Streaks. They would make it all the way into the regionals, where they would fall to the Massillon Tigers up at Parma Byers Field. When we look at the Hoover Vikings, we'll stick with our wrestling theme, since I got my wrestling guy over here next to me, man. You're starting to become an aficionado in all areas of sports and Stark media, guest appearances here. But A.J. Dolph, he's kind of one that sticks out to me, man. You know, I understand the relation to wrestling and football down in the trenches, but what do you kind of expect from A.J. Dolph coming out of that secondary, and even with, I believe they're going to graduate their running back, Luke Roach. Yep, Luke Roach is going to be gone. Was a first-team All-Federal League guy. A.J. Dolph is a guy that could probably carry the rock as well, right?
He had some carries last year. A.J. is an incredible athlete with great size. He runs like a deer, and he's a hard-nosed kid. You talk about the trenches. One of the things that wrestling does, for a football player is, the football game moves very slow to a wrestler out there. So the recovery time is way more than needed, so they don't really get tired out there. So that's a cool thing, It is different muscles and different things like that, but the tanks are just different for the wrestlers out there on the football field. That's why in Stark County, that you see a lot of them that are tough football players, and the preparation is just different for those guys. But I do look to see like a kid like A.J. Dolph to have a big season this year, as long as he can stay healthy. He's actually walking towards us and just pointed over at me right here. Looks like he doesn't have his cleats on today. I think he might be still resting that foot injury he had a few months back.
There we go.
We'll bring him over.
We got him, man. We're going to get this guy on here. So we'll wait until we get AJ on the headset here to kind of break down the Hoover Vikings with us. Hop on in here, my man. What's up, brother?
What's up? How you doing?
Right on cue, AJ. We were actually talking about you right when we made eye contact.
Really?
Yeah.
So as we started to kind of break down some of the teams that are here, we talked about the Perry Panthers first, and then as we kind of dug into your Hoover Vikings, you were one of the guys that kind of stuck out to me, because we're looking at guys that are going to be returning. So I know that Hudson Lint's going to graduate. Bradley Cormanack, who I believe was probably your best offensive lineman last year, he's going to graduate. You're going to lose a stud who not only at linebacker but kind of in that H-back position when you guys got on the goal line, Luke Regualo. He's going to be gone. Weston Riesinger is going to be gone. Jack McKelly, what a stud was he for you guys.
Yep.
So you look at a core group of guys coming back for you, yourself, Carson Derlin, Zach Brocker, Bryce Roach, who I thought played great coming off the edge.
Oh, yeah.
And even, Jamie, you just talked about young Zyarko, Drew Zyarko. And then we know that we're hoping that we're going to be able to see Brady Sullivan out there as well. I don't know where Cooper Westfall kind of stands right now, but I'm going to tell you right now, buddy, I know the rivalry that sits between you guys and the Jackson Polar Bears. I don't know if there's been any chirping going on out there yet.
Not that I've noticed. Might have to start it.
You know, when one of the cool things for me last year, impressive things that always kind of stick out to me was when Luke Roach went down and Cooper Westfall started carrying that rock over there at Jackson. You know, he was really kind of the key and kind of led you guys to that victory.
Yeah, that was huge. You know, we had a veteran just go down and Cooper stepped right up. Took the spot.
Who are some guys here that we may not know about locally, people may not know about, that you've kind of seen? I know it's kind of different for you because you've had to transition from, while some of these guys have been in the weight room, you've been out there on the wrestling mat doing your thing. Who are some guys that have kind of stepped to the forefront that in the back of your ear you're hearing like, these are going to be guys that didn't play last year, may have been a JV guy, but they're going to contribute?
Isaiah Barker, he's grown a lot. He's gotten way more athletic. He's been training a lot. He's been working his butt off. He's in our grade. He played JV last year, but I think he can really make a big impact this year.
He's here today? Okay, I thought I saw him.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you this in regards to the Vikings. You know, I think it'll be a young team again. I think that, but I think that the young guys that are going to play, the AJ Dolphs, the Zach Brockers, the Zarkos, not only are they all tough kids that are ready, they're all second-generation guys in North Canton. It is a neat class of or group of kids in this football program. They're all representing the North Canton name, for the second generation. And I don't think that we're going to be a real senior-heavy team this year, but I don't think that that's something that's going to slow us down.
No, not at all. We're going to have a lot of young guys step up. You know, we're going to have juniors step up, sophomores step up. And
a lot of sophomores played last year.
Yeah, we had at least 5 sophomore starters, and then the sophomore class this year is tough too.
Yeah,
so
I've heard a lot of good things about that.
Yeah, we'll have a couple sophomores starting probably. So we'll be a young team, but that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Hey, man, listen, you can play football. It doesn't matter if you're a freshman, sophomore, junior, man. If you can line up and handle your business and get it done, that's all we really care about, right?
Yep.
You know, I mentioned to Jamie before you jumped on with us that, for me it was impressive to watch what you did, playing in the secondary last year. But do you expect to get more carries this year?
Yeah. We got a new transfer from Northwest, so me and him are going to battle it out.
Kyler Maraglia.
Yep, me and him are going to battle it out, but I think we'll snip kind of get like half and half,
Share some time. Does he play defense?
He doesn't play defense, no.
What do you enjoy more? Are you more of a defensive-minded guy, or you like offense?
I like offense. I like getting the ball.
Okay.
Most wrestlers like defense, but you're faster than most wrestlers.
Yeah, I'm a little athletic for a wrestler, so. No, but I like playing defense, too. Defense is fun, hitting people.
Let me ask you about a couple of your wrestling brothers, man, because I look down here on the roster. I know one of our good buddies, a big fan of Stark Media stuff, Christian Friel.
Yep.
You see Sullivan Friel.
Yep.
And also Alex Bosky.
Yeah.
Are these 3 guys that you're expecting to contribute and really play an impact role?
I think so. I think especially Christian could. He's been working his butt off, man. He's been doing great.
He's gotten bigger, too.
Oh, yeah, he's gotten way bigger. I think he can, if he really believes he can do something for our team, he definitely can.
Christian's a guy you just need to tell him to shut your brain off, go out there and be an athlete.
Exactly.
Don't think about anything.
He thinks too much.
And really in any sport, that can kind of hinder you, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Like, don't overthink it. Just get out here and play.
Yeah. And Christian's good. He can shut his brain off. I've seen it before.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so let's switch over to a guy that's in the back half of the defense with you, but one of our lacrosse brothers, Mitch Gregory.
Mitch Gregory.
Talk about Mitch and what he brings to the table for you guys.
He was a solid corner last year. Covered well. He was smart, and he just made some good plays. He made some big plays for us.
Not shy of contact.
No.
He'll come up and hit you.
No, he's a little ankle biter, you know. It doesn't matter if you're 6'5", if you're 5'5", he's gonna get you down somehow.
Yeah, him and Sean Cavanaugh really kind of led that team, the lacrosse team, a great lacrosse program. You know, Mitch's dad running that deal over there.
Yeah.
They've had a ton of success, and really the one thing that I've noticed is lacrosse. I guess you can kind of call it the Karen effect, right? The moms that don't want their kids playing football because they think it's too dangerous. They're like, hey, go out there and play lacrosse, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I start learning more about lacrosse. I'm like, these dudes are running across the middle, whacking each other with sticks, like barely with any layer of pads on. I'm thinking, this is way more dangerous to me than football.
I mean, dudes come to school with bruises the size of baseballs.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Oh, man.
Just whacking each other.
All right, one guy that to me was a sophomore last year, and by the time it's all said and done, I think is going to be a guy that will push not only for maybe a all inland Northeast Ohio Player of the Year, potentially Stark County Player of the Year, Zach Brocker.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
I mean, dude's an absolute stud, right?
Yeah, he's amazing.
You know, he played some wide receiver. You know, and I know Carson's coming back. He'll be your guy's star quarterback, but. You know, Zach's really a guy that if somebody goes down, you could plug and play him anywhere, right?
Yeah. I mean, he's just so flexible. He can do whatever he needs. I mean, last year was his first ever year playing wide receiver. He was a quarterback his whole life.
He's a good quarterback.
Stepped right in and did amazing.
He's, you know, a lot of it is genetics. I mentioned his dad was a great quarterback back in the day, but what's cool about, you know, Mike and Zach is they're just cool guys. They're cool as a cucumber. He's not going to get rattled out there if we're down 2 touchdowns.
No.
Zach's still going to run the right route. He's still going to do exactly what he's supposed to do.
Yeah.
You know, and he's going to do it very athletically.
Yep. I mean, he ran the best shuttle time in our group, 4.16, I believe.
There you go.
So,
I'm excited to see these groups post their 40 times.
Yeah.
That's what I keep looking at my phone for.
Yeah.
But I haven't seen if his group has come through yet.
I don't think so.
I know that when I came out there, you guys were actually scrimmaging with Sandy Valley last year. We came out, we did some footage, and Zach was the guy that everybody's like, yo, you see number 10 over there? Watch out for this dude.
Oh, yeah.
Right, and then so how about let's chop it up a little bit about our guy Mason Ashby, man, the speedster.
Oh yeah.
I know he kind of flossed on Jamie a little bit there. He's like, hey, what do you think your 40's going to be? And he dropped a 4.5. He's talking 4.5. I'm thinking, wow, okay.
I wouldn't be surprised at all.
He's thickening up, man. It's good to see it. He's not like a little paperclip with a helmet on out there, you know. And he's a good kid too. His dad's
awesome.
a North Canton guy, and I'll tell you, you know, there might not be a more jitterbug Federal League kid where if he catches the ball in open field, he's a guy you're not going to put big hits on. You know, he's just he finds the end zone. He has since he was in 3rd grade.
So like the perfect little safety valve for Carson.
Yep.
You
Absolutely.
know, you put him in that slot. You know, put him in a position where, hey, if you can just get the ball into his hands quickly and just let him make that quick little move.
One move and he's gone.
Oh yeah.
All right, man. This just peeking through this roster here. This is going back to the Week 8 depth chart against the Lake Blue Streaks, and yeah, you guys are going to have some holes to fill, man. But I'll tell you what, at that point, you guys, you guys were flying high, man. You guys are doing some really good things. Coach Brian Baum, man, he's made his impact, and I think. You know, for anybody kind of taking over a program, especially after it was a long-time legendary head coach, the Hertler family has been synonymous with North Canton.
Legends.
But you know, now you've got some we'll call it renovated facilities. You've got the new, and for me, when I was in high school, I always told people my favorite place to play on the road was over at Memorial Stadium. You know, something about the pillars, something about those away stands, or the stands over there. It was just, man, it's just different. You know, it had a great football vibe and feeling.
Yeah, I love playing there. Playing at home is just the best feeling ever. You know, the crowd's roaring, especially last year, that first game against Bookville. I mean, the kickoff, I was just looking. I was like, holy crap. Like, this is insane. And it's just the best feeling running out of that helmet.
Yeah, I agree.
Going through that banner, nothing like it.
Well, man, it's a beautiful day here for high school football, and I think it's a pretty cool deal now that we've got not only has OSHA changed things to where, you know, you can have spring football, but for the coaches to get together and say, okay, listen, we're going to have practice time. We're going to have our own one-on-one time with our guys, but let's put something like this together. I know that they did something over at the Hall of Fame Village.
Yep.
You had 2 local teams, McKinley and Glen Oak, which they also featured, Akron East and Ursuline. But to have local 6 Stark County programs all here today, all performing, guys that know that, hey, man, this is a chance for me to show somebody that how rare it is, whatever you decide to do to post high school. I would imagine it's probably going to have something to do with wrestling, but, nobody's guaranteed extra snaps. Many dudes, it's like, hey, that last snap in high school football is going to be the last time they'll ever strap the pads on again. This has given guys an opportunity that may have thought that at one point, an extra chance to say, you know what, maybe I can go and play D3 football. Maybe I can play D2 football or NAIA football.
This is a great opportunity for a bunch of guys that, besides this, aren't getting recruited at all.
Yeah.
They're not getting looked at by any colleges, and this is a great opportunity to showcase their skills.
Yeah, this is definitely very neat. I'm super excited to be a part of something like this.
I just wish I would be able to compete.
Me too. So how's the foot? Is that where we're at?
It's a little better. It's not where I want it to be. It's not perfect, but we're definitely making improvements.
Better to be not perfect now and be ready then. So.
Yep. We're saving it. We're saving it.
There you go.
All right, man. Well, hey, listen, we're going to let you get back to kind of checking out some of your boys out here and make sure that you let your dad know,
I will.
The legend, Brian Dolph, let him know that we're always talking about him, thinking about him. And I know that we even kind of chewed on his ear a little bit during wrestling season last year. We said, man, we're going to get you on the microphone here eventually.
We got him. We got him last year. We got him at Top Gun.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Well, we're going to get more of a feature. I think we need more of a Brian Dolph feature at Stark Media.
I'll talk to him about it.
That would be legendary, man. You tell him. Say, listen, man, they're talking about throwing around some NIL money over here, man. we need that Brian Dolph featured segment each week. All right, man. H.A. Dolph joining us here on set.
Man.
Thank you, brother.
Appreciate it, man.
Get healthy, man. Looking forward to see you here in the fall coming up.
Thank you.
All right, well, I think we might be able to take a little bit of a break here for a second. We'll kind of reload, regather, maybe hear a word from our sponsors, and then we're going to look to bring on one of these great head coaches that are out here. Just again, we'll rattle off who all here in attendance. We've got Dan DeGeorge from the Lake Blue Streaks. We've got Jay Rohr from the Jackson Polar Bears. Tim Goodman from the Alliance Aviators. Brian Gamble from Sandy Valley. Zach Slates, again, orchestrating this thing here inside of Wakefield Stadium. His longtime legendary head coach, and now he is, we'll call him, as I teased him last year, you are now the young grasshopper taking over. And it was cool to see when they had their scrimmage that I came out to, and I believe it was kind of like roughly like a week after Sandy Valley and Hoover scrimmage. I came out here, and Dover came in to scrimmage Perry. And Coach Wakefield is now the D coordinator down there at Dover. And so he walks out, and Zach's walking out with him. We're back right over there in the corner, and I'm kind of walking from behind. I'm like, this is like Ninja Turtles, man. This is like Leonardo and like Master Splinter, right? Like learning from the Godfather, So Zach's done a great job. We're going to talk to him. Brian Baum from North Canton Hoover, as you mentioned. We just heard from A.J. Dolph. All of these guys in attendance, 6 of our great Stark County high school programs right here inside of Keith Wakefield Stadium on the campus of Perry High School. So we're going to shut down here for just a second, maybe hear a word from our sponsors, get you to catch a little bit of the action out here on the field, all the drills going on. These guys are performing for the Scouts. Jamie Fausnight, TJ Downing. We'll be back here in just a second for you. The Fraternal Order of Eagles number 190 in Massillon wants you. Stop down to the Massillon ARE at 303 Wyrick Boulevard Northwest. And like our over 1,800 members experience daily, your Eagles membership will give you access to great food and drink specials. Having a party? Host it in our banquet facility and seat up to 400 people. When you're coming through downtown Massillon, stop by the Eagles and sign up. And for a small fee, you'll have access and be a part of a fraternity that donates over $100,000 a year to local charities. The Fraternal Order of Eagles ARE number 190 in downtown Massillon. Stop by or call us today at 330-832-7385. You came to Stark Media for the best? Well, now you got it. Check out Lindsay's Pizza on 2827 Whipple Avenue Northwest inside of the Hillsdale Shopping Center. The preferred post-game pizza of the Stark Media team is open until 11 p.m., and it has all the essentials for game day. Pizza, chicken, salads, and sandwiches are just a click away at lindsays.pizza.com. But you should trust the former Ohio State All-American and just call them right now at 330-477-3800. 477-3800. This is TJ Downing for Lindsay's Pizza, and I approve this message.
Chris McCready's and his team at Finally Hear Hearing Aid Center in Canton offer up over 30 years of experience for their customers who are hearing impaired. Head over to their website at finallyhearohio.com and schedule your free hearing aid test and evaluation today. They're a best of the best award-winning company that prides themselves on customer service. Stop down and see them at 1201 30th Street Northwest or contact them at 492-1212 for an appointment. And thank you for sponsoring Stark Media's finallyhearohio.com Player of the Game.
The leader in quality drivetrain components, H&H Truck Parts is a name you can trust. Located in Valley View, Ohio at 5500 South Cloverleaf Parkway, H&H can handle all your heavy-duty truck needs. Come in and exchange your transmission, differential, or power steering gearbox. But that's not all. H&H is equipped to handle all your parts needs. Permco pumps, Muncie PTOs, Neapco U-joints, Spicer yokes, new Eaton clutches, and more. Let the professionals at H&H Truck Parts handle your transmission or differential installation in one of their 6 service bays. Specializing in drivetrain repairs, stop by and have your drive shaft balanced, flywheel resurfaced, or your clutch installed alongside the best transmissions and differentials on the road. You know why they're the best? Because H&H is Ohio's largest purchaser of Eaton Fuller parts. Need a blower or a pump? H&H distributes Paragon and Permco brands. Names you can trust with your livelihood on the road. Call H&H Truck Parts today for the leader in heavy-duty truck parts and service. Call locally at 216-642-4540. Toll free at 800-601-4540 or check them out online at hhtruckparts.com. Power outages can happen at any time, without warning, and can leave your home powerless for days. Hilscher Clark has partnered with Generac to bring you the #1 selling home standby generator brand, engineered and built in the USA since 1959. With a home standby generator, your home will never lose power again. Generac generators activate automatically in the event of any power loss and restore power to your home within seconds. Don't leave your home unprotected. Trust only the best. Hilscher Clark's residential division are experts in their profession and go above and beyond to provide you with quality, efficient service at a fair price. Starting with the estimate, they keep you informed regarding status and completion of your projects. They also give you shorter arrival windows and send you email and text confirmations of your scheduled service appointment, as well as notifications when their electricians are on their way to your home. Hilscher Clark's Google reviews speak for themselves, with more than 270 reviews and 4.9 stars. And if you've just recently purchased an electric vehicle but don't want to rely on public chargers to keep your battery full, Hilscher Clark has all the juice you can handle for your home vehicle charging needs. Hilscher Clark is a certified Q Merit Solutions partner, making them market leaders in electrification and recommended by local dealerships. Visit them online at www.hilscher-clark.com. That's HILSCHER-CLARKE.com. Or stop down and see them at 519 4th Street Northwest in downtown Canton. Or contact Hilscher Clark today at 330-452-9806. That's 330-452-9806. Remember, it's your home, it's our family. Trust only the best. Hilscher Clark Electric Company.
McNeil & Sons Tree Service serves the greater Northeast Ohio area by keeping your property clear all year round. Do you have trees that have stretched too close to your home? A rotted tree that has to go? Or perhaps even storm damage? No job is too big or small for McNeil & Sons. We specialize in large tree removal, storm damage, stump grinding, land clearing, and more. McNeil & Sons Tree Service is fully licensed and insured, so contact us today at 330-606-1126 for all your tree care needs. Or visit us online at mcneiltree.com to schedule your free quote. The professionals at McNeil & Sons can inform you of your tree health and give you a risk assessment to keep your family protected. So call today, 330-606-1126. McNeil & Sons Tree Service, a company you can depend on with family you can trust.
All right, welcome back in, everybody, to Wakefield Stadium, the legend Keith Wakefield Stadium here on the campus of Perry High School. TJ Downing joined by Jamie Fausnight, now Carson Basham. Boy, I'll tell you what, it's a busy time for you right now, partner, because you're not competing in these drills out here, kind of testing in front of some of these scouts and recruiters, because you're going to be competing down at Jesse Owens next week, man. That's got to be a great feeling. Talk about what just went on here this past week with regionals, how you qualified, and really the excitement that kind of surrounds being able to go into that legendary venue with that legendary name on top of it.
Yeah, we made it out of districts in 3 events, in the 4x1, the 4x2, and then I made it out in the 200. And our best event was actually the 4x1. We were looking forward to breaking the school record and then going to states, placing there. But our relay kind of fell apart. In prelims, we had a bad race, so we didn't make it to the finals. So our focus moved on to the 4x2. And we knew we could make it out, but it was going to be close. So we ended up running against Solon, and Solon was in lane 3. We were in lane 2. So if we beat Solon, we knew we were going to make it in. And I was the last leg, and my team gave me a great position to go finish the race, and we ended up placing 3rd, making it out. And then in the Open 2, I knew I was going in place 4th in the finals. And then I had just had a great race. It was into a headwind, so it was a tough time, but it's not about the time right now. It's just about making it to the next week, which we did, so that's good.
Yeah, some of your teammates, not only in track but in football, like Garrett Laubacher, Joel Brown. These are some really talented guys. And Coach Slates was kind of telling me, like Joel's situation, where you've got a bunch of guys that all kind of hit at like a 6.5, and how they kind of determine where, okay, you make the top 4, you're going to qualify, but then there's also 2 other at-large spots. How does that all break down?
So I'm not really sure how it worked out for high jump for Joel, because there was a bunch of kids that jumped 6.5, but the same thing happened with Garrett last year. He placed 5th at our region, but he beat everyone else's region, so he made it out at 5th with the at-large bid. So, but I think Joel, there's going to be a bunch of high jumpers there, because I looked at all the regions and everyone was jumping 6.5. So it's good for him too, because he had a bad day and he still made it out. So he can go there and he has a chance to win it all. So it's great for him.
Well, that's exciting, man. I'm really looking forward to seeing everybody from around the Stark County area, everybody that's been able to qualify and get down there to compete, because I think that's often something, and that was kind of, Jamie, our premise in starting Stark Media, really kind of what our mission statement was we understand how big football and basketball are around the area. They're kind of your cash cows, so to say, but we have so much talent in other sports around here. We know what we get in wrestling, especially from your guys' program, but in track and field, Jamie, I mean, there's not only is it just in the track events, but the field events as well. We got the Alliance Aviators out here, and one of Coach Goodman's best offensive defensive linemen, Carter Lewis, he's going to be going down to state with a chance to compete for that championship. I believe took 3rd in the region. But I mean, he's chucking that thing at the shot put around like 55, 56, I think was his PR. Yeah,
that's wild. It's and that we're here to talk about like college recruiting and things like that. And one thing that people don't really understand is those coaches do get impressed when you play multiple sports. It's not so much they want to see you sell out on one sport when you're in 6th grade until you graduate. They're impressed by those things. It says a lot that you're sitting here with us and not running a 40 because you have bigger fish to fry. Like, you got the best 40 time because of that. That you're there's an asterisk next to your name because you're not competing, because you're competing for a state title. And that's something that's appreciated and not looked down on, and a lot of moms and dads at home don't get that when you are looking to move on to the next level, no matter what sport you decide. What do you think is your first choice if you're going to compete at the next level?
I'm not really sure yet, but if I had to choose right now, it would probably be track, but I still have a whole another year to decide, and I could have a great season for football. So I don't know. If I have the opportunity to play both football and track, then I would love to do that, but I don't know.
So if you were out there, ballpark me a 40 time.
I'm hoping sub 4.5.
Ooh, there we go.
Know.
That's moving, brother.
Yeah.
That's moving, brother.
That's fast.
I need a moped for that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
what is your? Do you play offense and defense?
Yeah, I played quarterback my sophomore year, and then Austin Maddox came up, and we knew he was a great quarterback, so I moved to running back and slot receiver, and then I played a little bit of free safety last year. So,
what's your favorite thing on the football field?
Oh, I love running the ball.
There you
Running
go.
the ball it's like no other. It's the best feeling.
So we'll talk a little bit about last season. We'll talk about some of the guys returning, and obviously, you guys were able to qualify for the playoffs. I know playing your next door neighbor, it didn't end the way you guys wanted to, but you finished with 17 carries, 59 yards. Garrett Laubbacher was able to get into the end zone there on a long 67-yard run, and really for Austin, not the day he would have wanted to have. I know you guys don't throw it a whole lot out of the wing tee, but he went 2 for 10. The 2 interceptions hurt, but. Austin and you and really describe for us how it works out of the wing tee. Jamie mentioned it when we kind of ran our first segment here and got things started about the youth program. You go down there, you're playing ball down there at Richville, and it's like, hey, you're learning that wing tee there so that by the time you get here, you guys run it like clockwork, man. It's not the easiest thing to do, but you guys run it to perfection, better than probably anybody in the state of Ohio. You and Austin working off of each other in that, and there's so many different backfield action things going on. He was able to carry it 16 times for 72 yards as well. So, what do you expect this year? And even understanding that Ivanik's going to be back too. He ran the ball well and effectively for you guys last year.
Yep, for sure. Maddox is going to have a great season. He's a sophomore last year, and he threw the ball well, and he's only gotten better. I've seen him throw. We still get together, obviously, but Ivanik as well. He had some injuries last year, but he's going to only get better. And then same thing with Ryder Hartshorn. I mean, he's huge, he's fast, so
wow.
I'm looking forward to seeing him and hopefully everyone can stay healthy this year, and it'll be pretty scary, our backfield, which is good.
Listen, Jamie, let me tell you what was scary. We've talked about the duel that we were over here to bring to you guys live on our Stark Media Team YouTube channel. That was St. Paris Graham and the Perry Panthers. And when I saw Ryder come out in a singlet, and I'm like, wait a second, this is not a high school dude. No, he's not.
I can't imagine
like
he's
chiseled from granite.
I can't imagine he's a bad football player, but if he was, he would get off the bus first. That's for sure. That's for sure. That dude is a man.
Oh my gosh, man. I mean, one of the things that we're not doing out here today are some of the weight room measurables, but I got to think that he's pushing 225 a good 25 to 30 times.
Yeah, it's pretty scary. When he gets in the weight room and he gets under the bar, I'll be spotting him sometimes, and I'm like...
It's there for emotional support.
Go ahead. I think he could do 225 for 30, 33. Probably, it's crazy. It's like a feather to him. He just repping it out like it's nothing. It's awesome. It's awesome to watch.
That's like, that kind of hurts my feelings right now because like my combine day when I was testing for the NFL, I did 225 33 times. So the fact that a high school kid is doing it 33 times, I'm like, where did this kid come from? Like Planet Mars or something?
Yeah. It's awesome to watch, and it's awesome that he's on my side of the field. So I love to have him on my team.
Oh, any day of the week, man. Okay, so for me, it's O-line, D-line stuff. So let's talk a little bit about that. You guys are graduating, to me, what I thought was one of the better offensive linemen, not only in Stark County, but Northeast Ohio, Briar Rechtenwald. We know that Mike Millen's going to be coming back. We got a chance to see him. Who are some other guys that you know are going to be your horses in front of you?
Yeah, so obviously Mikey, he's coming back, which is great. I mean, it'll be his 3rd year, so that's really good. And then we have Carson Gidcombe. He's a returnee. He played as a sophomore last year. And then we have Terry Brady. He started last year. He tore his ACL in the offseason, but he's rehabbing back. He's doing good. And then we have Landon Ristoff. He'll be a junior. He's got some good size to him. He wrestled. He's good. And then we have a couple sophomores that are going to have to step up, which is fine. They got some size to them, and I like their attitude and everything, so I think they'll help us out on the line for sure.
Well, not to interrupt you, but when you talk about the wing tee, the first thing that comes to your mind is the misdirection of the backfield. But when you really look at how those linemen have to be able to pull down the line, and you have multiple guys pulling on a lot of different plays, so you have to have athletic guys. They don't even have to be big and super strong. They just have to get to their spot on time, or the whole thing falls apart. That's why it's so important that they teach this as little kids coming up through. Almost any other offense, you can kind of teach them. The timing is not the same of what you need all 11 guys to do as you have to do in that wing T, which is what makes it so effective.
Yeah, for sure.
I think Ristov could probably be a problem for some guys on the defensive line, right? I mean, he's, knowing how to use leverage, knowing how to use his hands. I don't know where the plan is to line him up, but I would imagine if you put him at like a defensive end spot, he could create some fits for some offensive tackles.
Yeah, he could. He's quick, too. He's athletic. He is.
Any chance you're going to recruit Aiden Faulkner to come out and play?
Good luck with that.
I've talked to him forever now, and he tore his labrum. I'm pretty sure he got a shoulder injury. So if he did come out, he was thinking about it. He really was.
We didn't realize.
I'd have a talk with him. For you.
Yeah.
Aiden's my boy. I would love to see him on the football.
Well, we didn't
field.
realize we had a chance to chop it up with him at the Stark County Wrestling Banquet, and he comes in here. He's in a sling. He's like, "Oh yeah, I did this back in January." We're like, "Okay, let's do the math here."
And we're like, "Oh my God, dude.
You won a state title after having this for 2 months. Like, dude, you're an animal."
Yeah.
Well, that's pretty exciting, man. I think there's some good things on the horizon for you guys. I'm excited to see kind of, what you guys are able to put into place. I know last year for him, for Coach Slates, who's rolling the bucket of footballs, they don't let us touch the footballs too much, but back in our day, the offensive lineman, I was talking about his feet pulling out of that wing tee. It was scary. And he said 320.
Before you say his 40
generous.
time,
He was like 330.
Before you say his 40 time, I want him to guess what he told us what his fastest 40 time was. Do you have an idea?
320 pounds.
Coach Slates?
Yeah, 320 pounds.
I've heard that he could almost dunk a basketball back in his prime. So I'd have to guess 499.
That's pretty close.
What was it?
Said he dropped a 4.8.
4.8? No, I don't believe it.
It was impressive, though, like when we would break down film as we were getting ready, obviously just trying to figure out how to stop the wing T, but like watching the offensive lineman and his feet for his size, he was so quick. The way he could pull around and hit the front side. I mean, you were just and really like trying to defend the wing T. I can remember it was a great running back you guys had by the name of Joe George, and like I would knife through as like Slates would pull, and I racked him up in the backfield, and I'm sitting over top of him, and I look him in the eyes, and he's just laughing, and then I look over, and there goes the quarterback running around the outside edge for like 35 yards. Like, damn, But that's
how you got to defend it. You got to tackle everybody. If you think they might have the ball, you knock him in the mouth. Mm-hmm. That's the only way to stop the wing T. If you try to guess, then you're playing your game.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, some good stuff for you, man, and I'm excited to see how everything works out for you guys this year. I'm excited to see how everything works out next week, man. I think I'm going to probably end up making the trip down to Columbus just to be able to get eyes on everybody from around the area. So, Stark Media Team, we'll be pulling for you, and we'll be excited to see you guys roll out here this season. I know, again, back to Coach Slates and for your entire team, how difficult that was last year. You guys had 5 overtime games.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like, I mean, go back and look at the history of Ohio high school football. Mm-hmm. I don't know if a team has ever had 5 OT games in a regular season in an entire year.
That's
who
crazy.
does that?
Yeah. It was.
How challenging is that mentally for you guys?
For sure. Like, I was playing quarterback at the time, so just like taking a snap under center in overtime is a lot of pressure. Like, if you fumble the snap, like, it's just a lot of, and for everyone, like, it's crazy, but it helped me and it helped our team kind of bond and like perform under pressure. And of course we couldn't get it done on most of those games, but we could have we were 2-8, but we could have easily been a 7-win team, and we know that. And this last year we had a lot of close games too as well. So, I think it's going to prepare us for the future. We're going to look at the bright side of it. Yeah,
absolutely. Those overtime games are going to, the experience you young guys got, what you bring out here, you go into overtime and everybody has those little overtime jitters and stuff like that. You guys won't have that.
Yeah.
Not that you'll see 5 overtime games this year, but
I hope not.
it will. You grew from that. That is a great experience to be able to do that.
All right, Carson. Well, listen, man, we're kind of getting out of our kind of timed events. Now we're going into some position-specific drills. So we'll let you kind of get back to following up on your boys out here. I know you're not competing today because you're getting ready again for the state championships down at Jesse Owens Memorial Track Field next week down there in Columbus. So we'll be pulling for you. We'll be watching for you. We'll be cheering for you. And remember, Stark Media Team will be live here for you next year as you guys open up with the Central Catholic Crusade. You guys here or at Central?
At Central.
At Central. So we'll be over there at Lowell Kleinfelder Field checking out the Perry Panthers and the Central Catholic Crusaders. Best of luck to you, my man. Get after it next week, man. Leave it all out there.
Thank you.
Thank you. Carson Basham joining us here on set as we are live inside of Keith Wakefield Stadium and kind of getting things rolling all day long here. Keeping it rolling as we'll have some of our coaches jump on with us. We're going to have some of our college recruiters jump on here with us as well. But before I pop it over here to Jamie and have him kind of maybe peek through some numbers for you, I want to give a shout out to a few of our sponsors here as well. Really, we can't do it without our friends over at Hilscher Clark Electric Company. Make sure to contact them at 625-4217. That's 330-625-4217. And also check them out online at hilscher-clark.com. That's HILSCHER-CLARKE.com. Our friends downtown Massillon, Eagles FOE 190 in downtown Massillon. Make sure to check out their website at eagles190.com and check out all the things that they do, giving back charitable contributions in the community. Most importantly, check out that Jimmy Kiefer Scholarship Fund and what they're doing there to try and give back to some young athletes, not only student athletes, but students that are going academically, getting ready to attend college next fall, trying to help them out as they continue their education and further themselves and their goals and their career. Also want to give a shout out to H&H Truck Parts, Lindsay's Pizza. Lindsay's Pizza is the preferred post-game pizza of the Stark Media Team. So tonight, Saturday night, you're looking for something to do here. I believe you got Game 6 of the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat. So if you're looking for some good chow, make sure to get some chicken, pizza, strombolis, calzone, salads, whatever it may be. Check out Lindsay's Pizza. You can order online at lindsayspizza.com or you can call them at 330-477-3800. Special shout out again to finallyhereohio.com, Leathernecks Nation MC, Spirit of Stark, Simon Says Promotions, C.H. Vallis and Associates, and McNeil & Sons Tree Service. All right, Jamie, I know some numbers have been had. We're kind of out of the timed drill stuff now. So if you got a couple that have popped through, I believe. Did we get a Mason Ashby clock time?
I haven't yet. There's the quarterbacks and wide receivers ran in two groups, and I'm looking at group 2 right now. And the one that jumps out at me is Phillips from Jackson. Wide receiver clocked a 4.35.
There you go.
That's moving. There's a couple other ones that are in the 4.5s here. That seems to be the fastest. Let me check this other group here. Let's see. I'm just going through it. I got a 4.4 out of Carson Derlin. 4.4 out of
that's pretty nice there for Carson Derlin.
Austin Maddox at a 4.4. Let's see. I got a
Jamal Phillips, sporting number 41 last year, was only a sophomore. So you got a guy that's dropping 4.3 type stuff coming back as a junior wide receiver for Coach Jay Rohr, and he's going to have a really nice young quarterback who will be coming back as well. Was just a freshman last year, took over that starting position, Lucas Eckerman. That's going to be a nice little weapon for him to throw to. Field stretcher for sure.
Hey, I'll tell you what. Nathan Baker from Lake, receiver, 5'11", 169, 4.2. For you post a 4.2 at something like this, your name's out there.
Nathan's another track guy.
Let's see. That's the fastest one I've seen so far. Got a 4.4 out of Greer from Sandy Valley. Let's see. Those are the fastest ones. Mason Ashby with a 4.7. You know, maybe he's put on some weight.
I think he might have got into his head a little bit, partner.
Maybe I did. Got another 4.2 here. Ellis Alston from Jackson, a 4.2. Wow, there's some fast dudes out here today. Oh wait. Mason Ashby. I saw the wrong one. Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Mason Ashby, he put a 4.31 out there. Sorry about that. The guy right below him was a 4.7. I apologize. I'm sure Brian Ashby's heart just sunk right there because I got his time wrong. There's a significant difference there.
All right, we're joined now by Fred Thomas, and I could rattle off all the spots he's been, man, but I know that he may or may not remember a guy that he had to coach against sitting to the right of him, Jamie Fausnight, when he was lining up at defensive line for the Hoover Vikings back when Coach was rocking with the Golden Eagles over there at Glen Oak. Coach, man.
That 5'3", bring them from everywhere.
Yes, sir.
Coach, you're now at Sandy Valley now, working alongside Brian Gamble and his father down there helping out as well, your son. How cool has that been for you to work alongside Ben?
We talked about it because I retired, and I said I'm going to volunteer because I spent 43 years with other people's kids, and I missed a lot of his events. I remember missing games, and my wife would call me with the score because he played at Hoover, and she'd call me because we'd be on the road. So it's been fun. It's been fun being his GA and getting yelled at. And it's been fun.
Boy, I'll tell you what, you've got a really nice quarterback coming back.
I think he's very good. I think he's very, very good. Someone's going to take a chance on him, and they're going to get a winner. He's a tough kid.
Well, not that. You got the measurables, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he looks, he's got to be all of 6'5", right?
They got him. They listed him today at 6'2", 190. So, but he's got all the intangibles. He's a tough kid. He's a shortstop on the baseball team. He's a point guard on the basketball team, and then he guards the center because he's the tallest kid in Sandy Valley. So they don't make him very tall down there. But he's just an athlete. He's a God-given athlete, and someone's going to get a really good winner if one to take a chance on him.
So what are the expectations here as we get ready for the 2023 season for the Sandy Valley Cardinals?
Well, I think we have to develop some linemen. I think skill-wise, there's some pretty good skill down there. There's 3 or 4. I know I was talking to Coach Dart a little bit, and he liked a couple of the receivers. Asked about them, and because of this, they got a couple good skill kids, a good running back. We got to find a couple linemen to fill in some holes, but if they do that, they'll be fine.
There we go. See, I thought you were going to start with the best side first here with the offensive line, and then we can work to those.
You and I both know if we don't find linemen, the skill doesn't get to do anything.
That's the truth. There,
it's the truth. We got to find linemen, and we got to find something. Hopefully there's some young kids that come out and that the weight room went well. But you never know until you put the pads on. You can do all this stuff and all those drills and all that. But you got to put the pads on before. And that's if we find linemen, they're going to be okay. If they don't find linemen, then we have to find creative ways to get Nicky out of the pocket. Yeah,
I had a chance to talk with Brian a little bit before we got started here today, and he told me, he said, one of your best guys obviously is Neary, and he's most likely somebody will take a shot on him as well. I know that Ashland's really interested in him, and there's some other teams that are sniffing around. But how does a guy like that, kind of utilize what he's doing maybe in the hallways and say, listen, we need some help? I remember the kind of the running joke last year when I came down and saw you guys. He said, well, we got this guy that was starting at tackle for us. He was going to be really good, but then he quit the team because he took a job. And I think Frank was like, oh, we're going to get him fired from that job. We're making a call. Get him fired. He needs to be back out here.
One of the things that Brian does I really like is he puts them in teams in the summer. And this year, there's about 50 kids right now, which for Sandy Valley is very big, but you'll miss a couple linemen. So what he did was kids that aren't playing, he would give each team 15 points if they bring a new kid into the program.
Yeah.
From the school, from the hallway, bring someone in. So if you get 2 or 3 kids, you're going to win. They get a dinner, they get a belt, they get all kinds of goodies, shirts, and stuff.
What a great idea.
So we decided, Brian decided, let's 15 points. We'll add to your total if you bring a new kid into the program, and it's worked out so well. So far, I got 1 new kid this week, so that was good.
It's a great idea.
Yeah.
Coach, one of the toughest things I'm sure that you ever had to deal with throughout your coaching career was when the program over there at Malone was dissolved, right? Do you see a situation in the future where the program comes back? How does that all work? And I know it's a tough thing that happened, and it's probably tough to even talk about because you guys were doing good things, and all of a sudden you got a guy from that team who's catching touchdown passes in the NFL, and
he's making $2.9 million.
Come on now,
that's a lot of money.
Do you think it gets to a point one day where I know that Akron had shut down their baseball program at one time, and then they brought it back. Do you see something like that in the future?
Well, they have a new president who was there when the program was dissolved. So hopefully they can. I think it would add to enrollment. I know their enrollment's struggling a little bit, but we were bringing in 125 kids, so that you add that to your enrollment, and at $40-some thousand a piece, and it's a pretty good chunk of change.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it ever happened there again at Malone. I don't know. I know they started lacrosse. There's some great people there, but I just don't know if it ever happened again at Malone. I think, and that was a tough situation for the kids. It was really, for us old guys, I was retired at that time, so it wasn't a tough one. But my coaches,
even Devin Jordan, it's like, he's starting his career off, and all of a sudden program dissolves. And now he's done all right bouncing back because he's kind of right underneath Brian Hartline down there at Ohio State now.
They're very close, as you know. But we most of the coaches that wanted to coach fell on their feet. Eric Baumgartner's down at Old Dominion, great place to be. I feel bad for Dustin Miller because he got a coaching job, and then he decided his wife was here, had a stable job, so he's selling now, doing some sales work. Two of them got out. One's down at New Philly. Jason Scabone at Bones is down at New Philly as the offensive coordinator. Very happy. So it worked out for some, and for some it really was tough. But the worst part was for the kids because, as you know, you have so many hours in, you can't transfer. You just can't afford to. Right. And then at Malone,
no portal back then.
No portal. No, there's no portal. And at Malone, and that's not good or bad, but you have to take religion classes early.
Yeah.
None of them transferred. So some kids we had to advise, hey, stay here and get your degree. Your career's over, and live. Just enjoy what you had.
Yeah, I still remember Evan Moxie telling me about those religion classes. And I'm like, there's no way that you were able to make it through those. He said that you'd get demerits when you're out there on the field if you dropped any F-bombs. And I said, there's no way you're going to pass that. You're going to max that out like after week 1.
I had Evan in class. He wouldn't have passed it. I had him in school, so yeah, I know all about that one.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, he's doing a great job down there. I believe it's down in the Carolinas. Yeah, he's doing a really good job. And before we get you rolling here and get you off, I want to say a happy belated birthday. And also, so another one of our teams that we have out here, you spent some time there as head coach, the Alliance Aviators. Yes. Coach Tim Goodman does a great job, man. Love what he does. Love how he coaches up his guys. He's gotten the athletic director position over there now. What have you kind of seen? I'm sure you probably keep eyeballs on some of your former programs that you were at. What have you kind of seen from Coach Goodman and how he's utilized
Timmy's
things?
one of my former players.
Okay.
So yeah, we do stay in touch with Timmy. And you know what? He's getting kids out. And the whole key at Alliance, in my opinion, is getting kids out because there's so many other distractions. Me and Bob Spade, Timmy and I were just talking about it. Bob Spade and I used to drive a van and pick kids up for 6 o'clock weightlifting. And then we'd have donuts and orange juice for them 4 days a week. But you got to do those kinds of things.
You have to do those little things.
You have to. Yeah. You have to do those kinds of things. Push the kids into at Alliance. And Timmy's done a great job. I mean, they're going to be a good football team this year. They really are. And it's pretty interesting because he calls on some of the headaches we had back in the day.
Right.
And but there's some great people there. There's some people trying to get it done the right way, which I'm excited about. And I think it's good for him to be the AD, too. I think that's a positive.
I'm always a huge fan of Alliance football. There's been so many times where they just show up and they beat good teams. They always have athleticism. It's a matter of doing those little things so the team stays disciplined and you get through all that. Yeah. There's always good support in Alliance. Yes. That is a prideful community.
Yes,
and they can go like 0-10 like 2 years in a row, and then all of a sudden they're 7-3 and like it just happens just like that.
No,
but that is what it takes. Is you do have to have guys that are more invested than just teaching X's and O's. It's just a different community.
And I think Timmy's doing a good job of getting those kids into the weight room, he's got a supportive administration, which always helps. Sean Jackson was a basketball coach at Glen Oak, who's assistant superintendent now. He knows sports. He knows how important it is. It's real important in Alliance. It's really, really important.
One of the other great things they probably did was bringing back the legend, Gary King.
Oh, he's the best. He's absolutely the best. There's none better. I love the guy. I really do. And
I love following him on social media, man.
He coaches outside linebackers for us, and then he's a track coach.
He puts his old pictures up of when he was when he's a semi-pro player and some of the teams he was on. Man, I'll tell you what, he's one of those guys back in the day you probably wouldn't want to tussle with.
He put some of those Ohio U Bobcat tapes on too. All those pictures from when he was at OU too. He's a good person.
Good really stuff, good man. Fred Thomas, appreciate you joining us, my man.
It, man.
Yep,
Thank you.
Always, brother.
Thanks,
Love you, man.
Appreciate it.
All right, we're going to step aside and take a quick break here. When we come back, we're going to get some more coaches. We're going to get one of these college recruiters on here with us to kind of talk about what they've seen today from not only the kids out there in the measurables of what we see in the broad jump, the 40s, the pro agility drills, but we're going to kind of talk about what they've seen here from these position-specific drills that are going on here right now. We'll get another one of those legends on there, Zach Slates, over on the backside in just a second. So we'll step aside, take a break, hear more from Stark Media as we are inside of Keith Wakefield Stadium for the Stark College Showcase. Back after this. The Fraternal Order of Eagles number 190 in Massillon wants you. Stop down to the Massillon ARE at 303 Wyrick Boulevard Northwest. And like our over 1,800 members experience daily, your Eagles membership will give you access to great food and drink specials. Having a party? Host it in our banquet facility and seat up to 400 people. When you're coming through downtown Massillon, stop by the Eagles and sign up. And for a small fee, you'll have access and be a part of a fraternity that donates over $100,000 a year to local charities. The Fraternal Order of Eagles ARE number 190 in downtown Massillon. Stop by or call us today at 330-832-7385. You came to Stark Media for the best? Well, now you got it. Check out Lindsay's Pizza on 2827 Whipple Avenue Northwest inside of the Hillsdale Shopping Center. The preferred post-game pizza of the Stark Media team is open until 11 p.m., and it has all the essentials for game day. Pizza, chicken, salads, and sandwiches are just a click away at lindsayspizza.com. But you should trust a former Ohio State All-American and just call them right now at 330-477-3800. 477-3800. This is TJ Downing for Lindsay's Pizza, and I approve this message.
Chris McCready's and his team at Finally Hear Hearing Aid Center in Canton offer up over 30 years of experience for their customers who are hearing impaired. Head over to their website at finallyhearohio.com and schedule your free hearing aid test and evaluation today. They're a best of the best award-winning company that prides themselves on customer service. Stop down and see them at 1201 30th Street Northwest or contact them at 492-1212 for an appointment. And thank you for sponsoring Stark Media's finallyhearohio.com player of the game.
The leader in quality drivetrain components, H&H Truck Parts, is a name you can trust. Located in Valley View, Ohio at 5500 South Cloverleaf Parkway, H&H can handle all your heavy-duty truck needs. Come in and exchange your transmission, differential, or power steering gearbox. But that's not all. H&H is equipped to handle all your parts needs. Permco pumps, Muncie PTOs, Neapco U-joints, Spicer yokes, new Eaton clutches, and more. Let the professionals at H&H Truck Parts handle your transmission or differential installation in one of their 6 service bays. Specializing in drivetrain repairs, stop by and have your drive shaft balanced, flywheel resurfaced, or your clutch installed alongside the best transmissions and differentials on the road. You know why they're the best? Because H&H is Ohio's largest purchaser of Eaton Fuller parts. Need a blower or a pump? H&H distributes Paragon and Permco brands. Names you can trust with your livelihood on the road. Call H&H Truck Parts today for the leader in heavy-duty truck parts and service. Call locally at 216-642-4540. Toll free at 800-601-4540 or check them out online at hhtruckparts.com. Power outages can happen at any time without warning and can leave your home powerless for days. Hilscher Clark has partnered with Generac to bring you the #1 selling home standby generator brand, engineered and built in the USA since 1959. With a home standby generator, your home will never lose power again. Generac generators activate automatically in the event of any power loss and restore power to your home within seconds. Don't leave your home unprotected. Trust only the best. Hilscher Clark's residential division are experts in their profession and go above and beyond to provide you with quality, efficient service at a fair price. Starting with the estimate, they keep you informed regarding status and completion of your projects. They also give you shorter arrival windows and send you email and text confirmations of your scheduled service appointment, as well as notifications when their electricians are on their way to your home. Hilscher Clark's Google reviews speak for themselves, with more than 270 reviews and 4.9 stars. And if you've just recently purchased an electric vehicle but don't want to rely on public chargers to keep your battery full, Hilscher Clark has all the juice you can handle for your home vehicle charging needs. Hilscher Clark is a certified Q Merit Solutions partner, making them market leaders in electrification and recommended by local dealerships. Visit them online at www.hilscher-clark.com. That's HILSCHER-CLARKE.com. Or stop down and see them at 519 4th Street Northwest in downtown Canton. Or contact Hilscher Clark today at 330-452-9806. That's 330-452-9806. Remember, it's your home, it's our family. Trust only the best. Hilscher Clark Electric Company.
McNeil & Sons Tree Service serves the greater Northeast Ohio area by keeping your property clear all year round. Do you have trees that have stretched too close to your home? A rotted tree that has to go? Or perhaps even storm damage? No job is too big or small for McNeil & Sons. We specialize in large tree removal, storm damage, stump grinding, land clearing, and more. McNeil & Sons Tree Service is fully licensed and insured, so contact us today at 330-606-1126. for all your tree care needs. Or visit us online at McNeilTree.com to schedule your free quote. The professionals at McNeil & Sons can inform you of your tree health and give you a risk assessment to keep your family protected. So call today, 330-606-1126. McNeil & Sons Tree Service, a company you can depend on with family you can trust.
All right, welcome back here on the campus of Perry High School, and we are joined now by the guy who kind of put this entire deal together. Joining me and Jamie Fausnight now is Zach Slates. And, you know, I knew one thing I was going to have to do if I came over here because I didn't know if they'd let me in if I rocked my green and gold, so I went with black and white. I thought that was respectable for these parts of the Stark County area. Hey, man. First of all, great job putting this thing together. I know that last minute you got an addition of the Jackson Polar Bears and the Sandy Valley Cardinals to make it 6 total teams on top of you guys, the Hoover Vikings, the Lake Blue Streaks, and the Alliance Aviators. So a lot of great talented athletes out here getting an opportunity to perform and show these scouts, these recruiters, what they can do. And I think that's a great thing. You know, we didn't have this type of stuff back when we played. And, you know, you and I were guys that obviously were getting recruited by Division I colleges around the country. But for guys that could be a bubble guy, you just don't know, you know, and they might think that the last time they strapped the pads on in Week 10 or in the postseason might be the last time they ever line up. Now they got a chance to maybe potentially play D3 or D2 ball or whatever it may be. So great job, man. Talk about how this all kind of came together.
Yeah, I mean, once we found out from the OHSA that we were going to be able to do some spring stuff, starting May 15th, I sent a text out to some of the Federal League coaches to see if they want to get involved with a little showcase thing and invite some colleges and get some kids recruited possibly. And it's just a good way for these colleges to come see these guys because they haven't been able to do this in previous years. They were able to go to PA or Texas and all these other states that allow spring ball, and we're just sort of catching up to some of those other states right now. And it's a little trial by error for us the first year doing it and just knocking some kinks out and trying to get it right. And we wanted to do a little combine stuff to show some times because some people like that, and then getting into some football stuff now. And I think the kids are having a good time, and it's nice for the kids to see the other teams in a different aspect rather than hating them on Friday nights. And us as coaches need to lead by example and say, let's get something together to help all of our kids in the league and surrounding area. I know there's not all Federal League schools, but like we want to see all Star counties succeed and have success after they're done playing in high school.
I think the foundation of what you've built here right now, it will potentially get to a point of what you just mentioned, you know, get more of our local Stark County schools all together in the same facility. And you mentioned Ohio High School Athletic Association, getting it right, you know, being able to do some spring ball. And for these guys, even we had a chance to talk to A.J. Dolph. I'm like, hey, you know, is there any smack talking going on between you and the Polar Bears out there? You know, because Week 10, it is what it is. But this isn't Week 10. This is a chance for all these dudes to come together to potentially, you know, Jamie, put themselves in a position to do something great.
Yeah. Yeah, what's cool, like, you know, I'm a wrestling guy first, and we do this stuff. You know, we train together all the time, so it's really neat to put these guys on the field next to each other and let one guy from Jackson run a route, and then the North Kent kid do it, and then the Perry kid do it, and it's just neat for them to kind of get a little bit of different kind of competition as opposed to just what the scoreboard says in the fall. You know, they can see if they can run a crisper route than the guy right before them that might be the first team all-federal wide receiver that's over there, and then they have a chance to, like, you know, kind of gauge what their competition looks like to become the best wide receiver in Starr County.
Yeah, and it's good for these guys to be able to see some of their competition early and just gauge. And our quarterback has done workouts all winter. He went with Ballard for a little bit, and then he's gone with Tom McDaniels more so in the spring. And he works with some of these Jackson guys and some guys from up north in the Summit County area. And he really enjoys just getting out there and throwing. And that this is something for them to just get out there and just get some football and get recruited possibly. So it's a good thing for him.
When we started talking to Carson about last season, you know, having to deal with 5 overtime games. I mean, I know you got a little bit of a history behind you. I mean, has any team in the state of Ohio ever had to deal with something like that?
There's no way.
There's no possible way. Half of your regular season games.
That's the right answer.
And Wake's been doing it for 40 years, and Perry had the first overtime game in Ohio high school, and he's only been in 2. And
wow.
It's just,
there you go.
And my first year
media
5,
nugget for
you. So, yeah, it's and then last year we had some injuries and things like that our numbers were light, so it was a struggle last year. Our numbers are getting up. We got over 60 this year and 40 in the freshman class, so our numbers are getting there, and yeah, it should be a good year.
You know, when Jamie and Carson were talking, it's almost like for the young guys that are coming back that had to deal with that, because Carson mentioned, like, it's different taking a snap in overtime than it is during the first 4 quarters, you know, but that's going to kind of pay dividends for a lot of these guys experience-wise coming back next year.
For sure. And it was just funny, like, once we got to the end of the season, that sophomore year for Carson, he was the quarterback at the time, and we were going against Lake, and he comes over to the sideline, and he's like, "We're freaking going for 2." So, I know that's not your decision, but I appreciate it. We are.
That's why they pay me the big bucks.
Yeah, but when your quarterback is 100% confident, you know, that you can't tell me that doesn't, you know, factor in. Obviously, he's not making that call, but you can have the decision you're going to go for one, and you see the look in that kid's eyes.
Yep.
You're like, you know what, let's do it. You know, and that's a part of the fun of coaching and making those decisions. You have to read those things.
Yeah.
You know, one thing in regards to the overtime that I do want to put in on it is, you know, when I coach wrestling, you know, overtime is pretty frequent. You know, we train our kids to be like, it's overtime. I get to wrestle more. You try to pound it into their head that way. You know, if you guys see an overtime game this year, it'll be a flag that you can wave like, hey, this is what we're built for. We're more prepared than everybody else for this. You know, so it is something that you have in your back pocket that'll benefit you this year if you need it. Yeah. Odds are these kids won't play in 6 overtime games in their entire careers. You know, but it is something that you can use, and you know, when they all come to the sidelines before they go out to, you know, overtime starts, you know, they're going to be the most prepared overtime team in Ohio history.
That's right.
You know, so that is really cool.
Yeah, it was, as we talked more about this with Carson, looking back at your guys, your team from last year, some guys that are going to be graduating. You know, DeAndre Church is gone, really, really nice running back for you. And then to me, what I thought was one of the best linemen around was Briar Rechtenwald. So you got to fill some spots there. I know that Mike Millen is obviously going to step to the forefront. I think he's one of the best young offensive linemen around the area. And one thing that kind of stuck out to me, because we know the correlation between, you know, wrestlers and football, but like, where do you put Landon Ristoff? Because he's a guy that knows hands, he knows leverage, and he'd be kind of a nightmare for some offensive tackles and pass rush, right?
Yeah, he's going to play some DN, and he's going to be at the center position as well. So. Again, being the center, you got to have fast hands. You got to be able to get up on the guy right now after you snap the ball. So that'll benefit him moving forward at that position as well.
As you've looked through what you guys have done in the winter and what you guys have been able to accomplish in the weight room, who are some guys that maybe we don't know about, that maybe were like JV guys last year, didn't get a whole lot of varsity reps, that you're expecting, okay, this could be either a breakout year, or this is a guy that's definitely going to contribute on Friday nights?
Yeah, I mean, offensive line-wise, Carson Gidcombe played tight end for us last year by default because we had we didn't have anybody else there. But he's going to be playing guard, which is where he's supposed to be playing at. And so him and Mike will be at the guards. And then some young guys coming up. Kyson Walker started as a sophomore, broke his wrist in the Glen Oak game. Just had a tough thing. And Luke Wolf was a sophomore last year, played receiver for us. He's 6'6", plays basketball, does track. Like, he does it all. And then another young receiver is Jaden Wilson. He's going to be a sophomore, 6'4", and he's a basketball track guy too. So we're looking forward to throwing the ball a little bit. I know TJ was making fun of me.
I'm not buying that.
For he said I wasn't looking forward to seeing some guys spin it. And I mean, we got a great quarterback, as you know, with Austin Maddox. He does a great job. So I'm excited about our skill positions. We're going to be young on the offensive line, but that's perfectly fine. Those guys have done good and worked their butts off in the offseason to prepare themselves to step up into the starting roles. And we'll have a lot of sophomores playing for us this year.
Well, young Perry offensive lineman grows up fast. You know, we were talking earlier about the timing that you talk about, the timing of the running backs. The timing of the linemen is so difficult for them to have down. They get it once they get that down, and they've been doing it since they were little kids. You know, once they get it down, timing is the most effective thing or most important thing in your offense. Am I wrong?
Yeah, absolutely. Just setting up the pulls, and we got the fullback coming around the block too, so it's shaking that out between the backside guard and the fullback. So, there's a lot of timing and getting around, and their speed determines on where other guys are blocking, so they got to be consistent in what they're doing. And this spring stuff has really helped us because we've been able to implement a couple things that maybe were slow to go in seasons prior. So I think we've utilized the days and times very well to get those guys ready to go, especially with the young offensive line needing that extra work.
Well, we were kind of putting Carson on the spot when we got him up here earlier, and Jamie said, Coach told us about his best 40 time, and before he even guessed at what the 40 time was, apparently you've been dropping rumors around here, which I don't know how much truth there is to it, but you dunking a basketball back in the day?
Oh, yeah. and you can ask Tavion Cleveland. I was coaching. I was 20-something years old, and I said I could punch it back in the day. He's like, no way. I'm like, I'll punch a tennis ball right now. And I went into Edison's gymnasium, and I punched a tennis ball at 28 years old. So
some explosiveness in those legs, man. I love it. You also
that's impressive.
You talked about Gidcombe. So he was a sophomore last year, kind of played that tight end spot, which really is, essentially for you guys is an extra tackle out there running inside of that system. But so he'll bounce down to guard.
Yep.
I look at him on the roster here from last year. He's about 185 pounds. Is he a guy that's kind of bulked up a little bit through winter?
He's probably 225, 230.
Nice.
Yeah, he's put on some good weight, and these guys. I mean, we lift all year round, so even in those other seasons, we're fortunate enough to be able to have lifting, and these guys come every day and done a great job.
Well, Jamie also mentioned that I don't know where you put Hartshorn, but do you just have him walk off the bus first in front of everybody?
No shirt, maybe a wife beater, tank top.
Our one
first guy off the bus.
Our one coach said he just walk around in the singlet.
Well, we were here doing the St. Paris Graham Duel, and when he came out in a singlet, I'm like, wait a second, like this, there's no way this is a high school kid. Monster. Like it's just like chiseled out of granite. Like that's just a different type of weight room warrior, right?
Yeah, he does our workout, and then he goes home and he lifts 5 days a week on his own too. Like and I just tell him like be cautious of what you're lifting back to back. Don't get hurt. And he's had some pulled muscles in previous years, and he didn't really listen to that aspect of it. And now he's really focused on stretching and doing all those other things that ensure that he'll be good to go in the fall. So yeah, he's done a great job this offseason. He's a huge guy.
What position does he play?
Wingback.
God.
Yeah, he plays
anything on defense.
Plays D-line.
Okay.
Yep, DN.
Wow.
Well, I'll tell you what. You put two wrestling guys in there, a defensive end, man. I'm sure they can collapse the pocket a little bit.
Yep, that's right.
So I'm sure we mentioned Friday nights, but Thursday night you guys will be opening up over there at Central Catholic. That's one that you guys have done for years now, and that's I know that. for you guys getting things started in the right direction, starting off the season, it's just a staple, right? So, Austin, you mentioned him at quarterback. He's done a lot of work here in the off season. You kind of joked with me before, I believe it was last year. You said, yeah, I think we're going to be a little bit smaller in the offensive line, but we got a ton of skilled guys. So any quirks or tweaks to the wing T? We might see a little explode out. Let's go five wides.
We did. Hey, against Massillon, we did. I mean, we knew that what their strength was on defense. It was in the middle, so we spread them out. Tried to spread them out a little bit, and I mean, obviously with these young guys, and we had some guys injured that weren't able to play that game, but. I think with what we got this year, and we'll spread it out. We'll go in 5 wide.
It catches people off guard, because they're just not expecting it from you, and then they see it, and it's like you as a defense, you got to go with what you have out there, and if you don't readjust quick enough,
we're a base wing T team, and that's what we're going to stay, whether we go 5 wide or we're packed in the box, and even if 5 wide, we're going to still run our wing T stuff and run the ball out of that. It's not just going to be we're going to spread it out and throw the ball 40 times a game. That ain't going to happen. You guys know that. I mean, if we can throw the ball 15 times a game, that's great.
Yeah.
But we're going to implement the run too.
Yeah, I think there was. I believe it was here, right? No, I think it was either here or it was over Hoover when you guys played. I think it was like 2 years ago. You guys threw the ball 5 times in a row, and like we had Mark Milano down on the sidelines. He's like, I don't know if you guys just caught this anomaly that just happened.
You should hurt me.
But Perry just threw the ball 5 times in a row, and I'm like, yeah, like I like it. I like it. That's good stuff. So,
I think, in my defense, I think that was at the end of the half or something. So, I mean, I think that was in our no huddle, like at the line stuff. So.
Oh, man.
That's awesome.
Hey, brother, great stuff here today, man. I appreciate you jumping on with us and appreciate what you've done here for not only for the Federal League, but for the other schools in Stark County that have been able to join us here today, Alliance and Sandy Valley. Just a tip of the cap, man. This is only the beginning. This is the foundation. You're building it up here, and I just see this thing becoming bigger and better throughout the years. So continue to do it, man. Great job, and we'll be pulling for you all season long. We'll be out there at Lowell Kleinfelder Field when you guys open up the season. We'll pop out and check in on you guys during training camp, and hopefully maybe I'll get invited to one of those film breakdown sessions with you and Coach Wake, man. That right there, you could set up a whole show just around that right there. I think it might have to be censored for your TV viewing pleasure, but no, I don't think there's anything quite like watching film with Coach Wake, right?
There's not.
It's an experience, right?
Yep, that's right.
All right, Zach Slates joining us here on set, man. Thanks a lot, brother. Appreciate you. Yep. We'll continue to bring on some more guests with us here as we continue to roll along here inside of Keith Wakefield Stadium for the Stark College Showcase. Jamie Fausnight, TJ Downing, myself, and joined by Zach Slates, head coach of the Perry Panthers. So I'm going to head out here for a second, and we'll let our guy Tarantino behind the video camera here kind of let you see what's going on out there on the field as I go and rattle in or corral our next guest, so to say. And we'll be back here on set just here in a few.
Hey.
Yeah, tell him what's up, man. I'm going to tell you what's up here right now. TJ Downing joined by Brian Baum, head coach of the North Canton Hoover Vikings, as we're live here at the Stark College Showcase. Coach, this is pretty cool, man. You know, we've talked about it all morning here with a lot of guys that, you know, the Ohio High School Athletic Association, when they kind of changed the rule here to allow you guys to be able to do spring practice, not only have you guys been able to get with your guys one-on-one, but to be able to put something like this together, man, for guys that may not have thought or known if they would play extra snaps after high school football, this gives them that opportunity.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun here. You know, Perry's done a nice job here getting this set up. Coach Slates, you know, give him some credit there. But no, having everyone come together, these 6 teams like this, work together. You know, you see different guys timing, different guys doing things, and the kids. I keep asking guys, "How you doing?" They're loving. They're having fun doing this, and you know, gets in front of some college coaches. And you know, being year one, I wasn't sure what to expect and what to think, and you know, I see a lot of things we can build on and make this an even better event for next year and see it growing. And, you know, it allows you to move in front of college coaches. You know, I see a lot of guys filming, sending it to their OCs. You know, when we were throwing there, our example of Derlin throwing there, you know, these guys are filming, sending it off their OCs and quarterbacks coaches right away to get evaluated. So, you know, I think it's a good thing for the student athletes and, you know, for the college programs as well.
Well, you let them know, man, if there's anything that they missed, all they got to do is go over to Stark Media Team YouTube channel, man. They can catch the whole thing. They can go back and say, oh, hey, I think there was an O-lineman that I missed over there, man. There we go. Let's give him an offer. Yeah. You know, so if we can spin that off of not only our NIL product here, but now we're getting guys placed into the portal as well,
yeah,
getting some scholarship dollars out there. Coach, you talked about your quarterback, Carson Derlin. Big things expected out of him this season. You know, and also with a guy like Zach Brocker, who he can work with alongside Mason Ashby. And you've also got a young man who's going to be transferred in to play some football for you, Kyler Miragli, a really nice tailback who played his ball the last couple of years at Northwest. But, you know, what's that? And again, Carson, thrown into the fire 2 years ago. You know, Henny was expected to be your guy, and we all know in the game of football, or really any sport, you know, you're one snap away from being the starter. So Carson had to grow up under fire, and now he's settled in after last year, had a really good year, and now it's like you're the guy. You know, it's your time to shine. What has he shown you to let you know that he's ready for that moment?
He has a lot of confidence, and that's something that he grew over the course of those 2 years of starting already. You get a third-year starter out there, and they've had success as he's had. You see that confidence, and you know that I'll dare say the word swagger a little bit out there when you're going with your receivers. He's telling them what he wants. He's getting some things out. And you mentioned Brocker and Ashby. You know, got a couple nice receivers right there to get working with, and they find ways to get open. He gets the ball there in a hurry. So, you know, that is very good for our passing game.
Yeah, Jamie kind of talked about it earlier about things you can do with a guy like Mason Ashby. You know, his skill set, what he brings to the table, speed, agility-wise. You know, is it something where it's like, hey, one down, you can be here in the slot. One time we're going to flex you out. Maybe we're going to move you into the backfield. Is it just a matter of get the ball into his hands quickly and just let him make a play, right?
Yeah, he's got those wheels. You want him in space, and, you know, we do move him around. And Jamie's right. You put him around, give him the ball in space, and you know, it's obvious when some people are trying to take him away, you know, and then you see the big numbers out of Brocker that week.
Right.
And, you know, you get a combo like that. Somebody tries to stop Brocker, next thing you know, Ashby's having a ton of yards and catches. So it's fun having a couple guys like that. You can't just take one away.
Yeah, Mason's cool because I said earlier he's kind of a jitterbug. He's not a guy that you get big hits on. He's elusive. You know, he's dangerous. He's one broken tackle away from housing the ball at any time. You know, you know, as somebody who follows that program a little closely, obviously, than any of the other ones, you know, as far as our quarterback goes this year, the thing that I'm excited about is exactly like what you said with, you know, thrown to the fire, and he was thrown to the fire. It wasn't that like we knew we didn't have a quarterback, you know, and he had all those reps. You know, he was thrown in. That was like Thursday before the first game.
Right away.
And I mean, all of a sudden he goes home and he has to tell his mom, "Oh my gosh, get ready! I'm starting tomorrow."
How'd you sleep that night?
Oh, it was a rough weekend. I'll be honest.
You know what? And honestly, like, it wasn't about that game.
Yeah.
You know, that was a terrible thing to see because that was a quarterback who waited his turn.
Yeah.
You know, and that was a I'm not super good friends with the parents with that family, but that was heart-wrenching.
Yeah.
You know, that he lost his whole season right there on Thursday before his senior year after he waited for Ashby to move on. You know, he waited. He was a good kid, and he waited his turn. But as far as Carson goes, you know, the jump from sophomore year to junior was incredible. It was incredible. If he takes just a small jump like he did from last year to this year, like he did that between sophomore and junior, he's going to be a legitimate quarterback.
Yeah.
You know,
and he's worked really hard. He's had a good off season. You know, he throws there with his coach, and he comes out and lifts with us and does a lot of good things. And you know, you're starting to see that in our passing stuff. We go out there and throw a couple guys, and the zips on the ball and the accuracy. You know, even last year, early on, he was like, you know, some of the throws he's like, I'm still working on, coach. But man, you're seeing him just nail it this year, and it's exciting for us.
Boy, it's still baseball season, right? Can we talk a little baseball here? Because I don't think we've had a chance to yet today. How about the job that Ashby and Longwell are doing for Kent State?
No.
I mean, I think they're in the one spot there for the MAC tournament. I mean, that's got to be cool, you know, for you when you get a chance to see, you know, former guys, whatever sport they may go on to. You know, this kind of the premise around this deal here today is, you know, continuing not only your education but your athletic endeavors as well. So, you know, when you get to see those guys go on to the next level, that's got to be a cool deal for you, right?
It really is. You know, Mason's, you know, hey, what time are we getting over? I thought this would be a little quicker than we're running today. But anyway, he's like, I got to go watch my brother play.
Yeah,
so there's a game here at 1 o'clock, and I'm trying to get Mason up to. He said, it's all right, Coach, I'm having fun. I'll be a little late. But no, to see Connor, you know, he's coming off the surgery he had in the offseason, to still go out there and be able to compete at the D1 level and do the things he does. You know, to help Kent State. I know he didn't play as much as he wanted to this year, but, you know, that's going to come as he gets healthier because he is a ball player.
He's an athlete and a half.
Yeah.
It's in the family, huh? It's in the DNA, I guess. Okay, so I heard you say a word there that we're going to hit back to. You said combo, right? So when I hear combo, I think a little bit differently, right? I think that guard tackle, guard center, working up to the next level. And I'm looking at your depth chart that you sent me over before Lake last year. That was week 8. From left tackle to right tackle, you're replacing everybody, right?
Absolutely, yes.
Aiden, Hudson, Owen, Bradley, Max, all graduating. So, how's that look? You know, with your winter conditioning going on, you know, you're getting your big boys in there, guys that are available that aren't doing something in the winter. Who have you seen step to the forefront of guys who are going to either A, be in the mix come training camp, or guys that have already said, listen, they're showing you, they're showing your strength staff, yeah, I want to play this year.
You know, we've got a lot of guys we're looking at. We got 10, 12 guys in theory that we're like, hey, which one of these guys can step and be part of our front five? And, you know, let's start with my seniors. Evan Bell worked hard. He wrestled this year. He became our heavyweight. He got himself into shape, and, you know, with wrestling comes toughness. I'm really
Scrappy
excited.
dude.
Yeah, and confidence, and, you know, those things that you need on the football field. I think he's going to be able to help us out, whether on the D line or the O line. But he's going to get a look at both. Nick Woodard, you know, big kid. He also wrestled, you know, this year. Lost 40 pounds, I think, to get down to 285. But now he can squat. He can bend. I think he did 405 easy the other day with a low squat. And, you know, these guys now are giving themselves a chance. Multi-sport guys now that have put themselves in position, and that word confidence keeps coming up. So those two seniors, you know, I want to expect to see stuff out of them. And I got some juniors out there. The Gorman name we had last year, he's got a brother out there, Oliver Curd, you know, a couple juniors I'm expecting to see things out of. You know, you got a young guy, Jack Zarko, running around out here today for the O&D line. You know, he's a big kid already, only going to be a sophomore, and, you know, having the bloodlines, his dad going to Indiana to play and stuff like that. So, you know, there's a lot of names out there, and like I said, 10 to 12 guys that we're going to sift through, try out different spots. But the first one, we got to find out who can snap the ball and step.
Yep.
I'll tell you this, and I've mentioned it. I've mentioned it when we interviewed you in wrestling last year. I've mentioned it probably once or twice today. I can't imagine there's another team out here that has more second-generation players on your team. It's nuts. Zarko, Ashby, Brocker, and I can't even rattle them all off. You know, they just, it's nonstop, and it's such a cool community in that way. You know, North Canton people tend to like to come back home and raise their kids in that community. But it like when TJ asked me the other day about wanting to, you know, do some more football broadcasting, I'm like, Not till this team's done. I'm going to be at every Hoover game. Probably not even the next 2 years. I want to see this junior class be. I don't know if I can miss a Hoover game until.
You're going to have full-blown Stark Media Team hometown coverage.
Yeah,
hometown
coverage. Yep.
Now, dig in a little bit more on Woodard, man. 6'5", 315, man. You can't teach that, right?
No. He might even be 6'6" now. He just kept growing. Size 15 or 16 shoes. I mean, the kid's a monster size-wise. And like I said, he is down. He got down to, he's probably 290 right now. He ran into a college coach. The coach was like, that guy's 290? He does not look it. I was like, no, this guy could put on serious good weight in the future. So schools are interested, but there's no film on him because he couldn't move last year. But now that he can move, I'm really excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, I remember when I got a chance to come out there to, I know it was some of your practice and some of your scrimmage stuff during two-a-days and kind of watching him move around, and that was the thing you kind of said. Like, he's big, but we both know the deal. If you can't move around, and then you mentioned as well, the center position. What was when you self-scout yourself when you went back throughout the season, what was your ratio of under center to shotgun? Were you guys pretty balanced in that, or did you guys do a majority shotgun?
We were majority shotgun, but I would say probably about 15 to 20% under center.
Okay. So, when you start to think about who can handle that shotgun stuff. Now, also, it's kind of been different for me recently, and I wasn't a guy that snapped. I mean, I know how to do it. I can teach it, but I just really didn't have the frame for what you would call a traditional center. But you see a lot of guys, you got a new technique that's come into the fold, right? The drag versus your traditional shotgun snap. Is there anything you guys teach specifically, one or the other, or is it, hey, what do you feel most comfortable with?
Yeah, obviously we want to get the ball in the quarterback's hands quick as we can.
However you can do it, just get it
there. But I have seen that where guys, it's like almost like a dead ball snap.
Yeah.
And, it's interesting to see that. But you're right. That exchange is so important because you have one bad snap, you've lost that drive.
Yeah. Right.
And we were pretty fortunate last year. Week one, we had a terrible snap out of my guy. That was the only one he really had that I can remember off the top of my head. But anyways, we hit Brocker on a 30-yard bomb the next play, and it negated. And I was like, man, we're so lucky on that one there, because usually you don't get me out of that. But anyways, no, we've got to find that snapper, and we got 3 or 4 guys in mind, and we just got to find who has the confidence. And then when it comes live fire, who can do it with a guy over and ready to step into him. I don't take that for granted, so we're going to have a couple guys ready.
Hey, I got a quick question on names that we haven't brought up yet for the North Canton team. Is where do you see the Remblack boys fitting in? They're kind of jack of all trades.
Yes.
You can kind of put them anywhere. Their size, they got bigger than I expected them to be. They're tough lacrosse players. I'm good friends with mom and dad, another second-generation family. Where do you see these Remblack boys fitting in?
Yeah, that's a great question. They lettered last year. They played last year. But, no, you're going to see Remblacks. Cole's going to be a backer for sure. Okay. He's going to look at. We're going to look at H-back and potentially tight end with him. He's the bigger of the twins. And then Jake, we're looking at him receiver, either Y or Z. But I'll be honest, man, he's also talked about at safety where he's played, or Sam Backer.
Yeah.
Those two things there. So we're looking at a couple spots for those
Swiss
guys.
Army knives.
Yeah, they are.
2 Swiss Army knives. You know what? Make sure they have different socks on, because I always struggle telling them apart. I always knew what shoes they had.
Yeah. The DBs coach and I have been talking about that already. There's a couple guys that are either linebacker or DBs we've got to figure out pretty quick so get some reps under them. But, that's a good problem to have athletes being able to do both.
Coach, pump up your staff a little bit here now. I see my man Grant over here. Not only do you have second and third generation players from North Canton, but you're going to have a we'll call it like 4th or 5th generation legacy of a Grimsley on your staff. Kind of brought him over last year and really kind of just said, hey man, take the reins on D here and really get these guys going and get them going in the right direction. He kind of paid dividends for you last year on that side, right?
He does a nice job. He really does. Between Grimsley, Coach White's our DB's coach on our D-line, those 3 guys are working constantly to make sure our defense is, one, simple for the kids. I know it can be complex at times when it comes to scheme, but keep it simple for the kids out there, and they're doing that way we can play fast. And the other thing is that all 3 relate very well to our student athletes, and that's the most important part to me. You heard me with kids you can't coach at North Canton. I got kids want to play for, and you're seeing it with our numbers up. We got big junior and a big sophomore class. This senior class is small, and we knew that all the way through. But these guys are just great with kids, and I'm real excited that they're still part of North Canton Hoover football.
These young teams, like he just said, this is not. My son is in this senior class. The numbers are down, so these kids have played up their entire career. They've been like the sixth grader on the fifth, sixth grade team because they had to. They've been the eighth grader. You know what I mean? They've always played like an age group up because there weren't those older kids taking all the spots. So it's not going to be real tough for a lot of those kids because they've been doing it their whole lives.
Yeah, you saw we let a lot of sophomores last year, so we got a lot of returning guys. There's some sophomores this year that are pretty exciting. It's a nice class as well.
That's what I keep hearing. That freshman team last year was pretty solid.
When you put together a staff like that, guys like a Larry Kennard, these guys that have been around the game, have been around Stark County football for a long time. You talk about these great players that you have. That's what equates to Federal League championships, right, man? And you've been able to get that done, and I know that's just part of one of the goals on the journey. It's just a step, but when you complete that one, carries you into the next one. If you're Federal League champs, you're going to be in postseason play. From there, it's only up, and you continue to move forward, man. So we'll continue to ride the journey with you. We're going to be out there covering you. We appreciate you joining us. We appreciate you letting us have some of your players on here and dig into the mindset of the Hoover Viking football program, man. So all the best, man, from us.
Thank you, Stark Media. I appreciate it.
All right, Brian. Appreciate you joining us. Brian Baum, head coach of the North Canton Hoover Vikings. And, Jamie, if you got some more numbers you want to try and peek through here for us.
You know what? They didn't update the last time. And to be honest, the 40 times I was given were not actual 40 times. So my apologies on that. It was the shuttle runs that I was gotten. And I still don't have the quarterback wide receiver numbers on the 40 times. Let me check again. Okay, so now I do have it in that one group here. So let's see what the fastest time was. This is a little more realistic here. So I got a 4.6 out of Nick Petro out of Sandy Valley. That's the fastest one in the quarterback one group. Let's take a look at quarterback two, quarterback wide receiver group here. Still haven't updated the 40-yard dash in that group, but I did see the TJ. We did have the first group as an updated 40 times on here. And it's not clicking over for me now. Here we go.
That was the perfect segue right there. We just got a Nicky Petro time, man, and we bring in head coach of the Sandy Valley Cardinals, Brian Gamble, man.
What's up?
Nice
How you
to meet
doing?
you, Coach.
Yes, sir.
Good luck,
yes,
man.
sir.
Back in your old stomping grounds, man. I kind of joked with you before we got started here. I said, I've been down there to work with you at Sandy Valley, covered your games, got a chance to see you doing some different scrimmage stuff last year, but the last time you and I were on this field together, different surface, because I remember you guys grew it out. I think the grass was about as high as this table
when
here.
We're playing Glen Oak. Are you kidding me? That thing is a jungle, man.
Remember, you could stand